Hi, my name is Karin Wiener from The New Wheel, and I'm joined today by Brett, my partner, to talk about one of the most singular bikes in our shop, the Riese Muller Delite. This year, Riese Muller totally revamped this bike. It's super exciting, and Brett, you've had some time to ride these bikes. What's the big picture?
This bike is Riese Muller's flagship, and so they took their cue from Bosch when Bosch released their brand new 4th gen motor to look at the bike, re-examine it from top to bottom, and do a complete redesign. You know, the response has been fantastic. What they've done is taken everything that they knew about the Delite from the years past, refined it, more integration, more performance, and then there's so many options now. There's a Delite in pretty much any category you can imagine. The only thing I can think of would be like a family bike Delite, doesn't exist. But mountain,
that's
touring.
That's in the form of a load, I guess. That's a family bike Delite.
So it's touring, trekking, mountain. It's super exciting. People have been super jazzed about it.
It looks very cool. I mean, what is it like to ride compared to other versions?
I rode it a little bit at Eurobike when Riese Muller first announced it, but you don't get to really experience all that much. It's like a simple little test track. But then the first time I've been able to really put some miles on it is commuting from Larkspur to the city. I was kind of floored by it. You know, that's a long distance commute. Having a speed bike is great. The new Bosch engine just gives more of a push, makes it easier to go at your top speed, which is really great. And then it's just comfortable. But everything, I mean, even just like the cockpit, everything is just refined. It is vehicular on another level. They've expanded the model line a little bit. So it used to be the Delite was dual battery, external batteries, and there's a lot of options. But with the new model line, they've split it into two. So now there's the Delite and there's the Superdelite. They're based on the same platform, sort of, except the Superdelite is dual battery and the Delite is single battery. But really what that does is it expands the line to meet more customers. So I would say like the Delite it can be very sporty, lightweight as a commuter bike. The Superdelite is your ultimate trekking, touring model, so super long range, never have to worry about range. They also have a mountain version too, so long distance trail riding, perfect. And then you can also do it as an urban bike, but it's just like, who are you and what do you really need? Do you need a lightweight full suspension bike to be able to carry up a flight of stairs, or do you want, you know, something, weight doesn't really matter, range is important, then you go with the Superdelite. And then there's, I think one of the hallmarks actually is the new cockpit.
Yeah.
So that is a brand new stem that Riese Muller worked on for a long time that they introduced on this model and a few other models. The integration is phenomenal. So you have all the cable routing just right along the bar. So it's still accessible to mechanics in the shops, but it looks clean and it gives adjustability. So now you can choose with the adjustable stem what position you want to be in.
Riese Muller's earliest bike designs were full suspension. In this new iteration, what's important to really understand about what full suspension means on a Delite or on an urban electric bicycle?
Yeah, Riese Muller bills their full suspension bikes as bikes with control technology. They could say comfort control technology because like comfort is a primary thing. That's what customers that come in and test ride, that's what they always hit upon is like, wow, this is the most comfortable bike. It's like riding on a cloud. That being said, control, it is really important. Safety is not often talked about in bicycles, but having full suspension, it allows for building a safer bike. That combined with wide tires, just a super stable platform. And so Riese Muller, like their inclination to make a comfortable, safe bike is spot on with e-bikes, and they've had this whole history doing it. And the Delite is the flagship in that. This is the bike kind of that started it all. And so, you know, nothing much has changed with that suspension design. It's a single pivot design, which means there's just one pivot point that with a large bearing, great for maintenance, great for dependability. There's not multiple pivots. And if you were many bikes, like a high-end mountain bike that you're going to be doing like single track trails on, you would have a multi-pivot design, and that's great for that sort of riding. It's not necessary on street riding. It's not necessary on fire roads and things like this. They do give you more options in terms of the travel that you'd like on your bike. So there's 120, 140, and then 160 on the mountain versions.
And that's front suspension travel?
Front and rear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so front and rear.
Tell me about this new motor. I mean, how is it different?
Yeah, so that's almost why this bike came about, is Bosch released the new 4th gen motor. It's a little bit more compact, it's lighter weight, it has lower rolling resistance, but it also has a much larger chainring, so it's a different design. Inside this motor is very different than motors in the past. But what they're trying to do is get things more and more integrated and allowing companies like Riese Muller to build nicer bikes. And so Riese Muller took the cue from that, integrated this motor. You can hardly notice it, but the motor, what it does is it gives more smoother power, faster acceleration. It keeps you on the high-speed models and the CX models, just keeps you at the top speed easier, and you can pedal past it really easy too. They've better integrated and cleaner integration on the 500 watt-hour Bosch batteries. We get a lot of questions about 625 versus 500.
Yeah.
And when we talked with Riese Muller, they specifically decided to go with 500 because it allows them to build the compact frame geometries that are more comfortable instead of being more stretched out. And when having dual battery or even a single battery in the city is more than enough range for most people.
So the bike is available with a bunch of different transmissions, and it kind of looks like there's like good, better, best. But is that really how you should be thinking about it?
I don't think so. I think the number one thing I would say is you want to test ride for transmission, not Superdelite versus Delite. You want to try touring, you want to try NViolo, you want to try roll-off, and figure out what's the best for you.
Right.
I will make a few points on this, which I think are important. First thing is belt drive is available in NViolo and roll-off. Belt drive is awesome from a low maintenance standpoint. So then there's a determination in the belt drive version between NViolo and roll-off. If you were doing a high-speed bike and you're doing lots of hills, I would say NViolo is not the best option. The gear range is a little too narrow. If the roll-off is the best from high speed and steep hills, it's electronic shifting, so it's very high tech. It's a little different. It's a little slower acceleration sometimes. You can skip multiple gears, but you kind of work your way up. If you like a sporty, performance-oriented ride, the touring is going to be that. You can shift through gears faster, you get instant power delivery, so it's the sportiest. So I would say for the ultimate, do anything, low maintenance, roll off. For many people who don't have crazy steep hills, NViolo's fantastic. And then for sportier riders who are used to normal bikes, touring, but you will do a little bit more maintenance and you will have to replace your chain every so often.
More often, yeah. So we've talked about a lot of the basics, the design of the bike, the new motor, transmission options, but what about the details?
Yeah, so the first thing I'll say is the basics on Riese Muller's is really the best. So especially on the Delite and the Superdelite. Lighting system is Supernova from Germany, crazy bright, high beam, low beams, brake lights on the bikes, comes with a lock, amazing Schwalbe tires. So all of that is the braking system, of course, really top end Magura German brakes. That's all covered. You do have some options when you're configuring your bike. So there's 2 rack options. There is the standard carrier, which is on the Superdelite here, which has a lot of utility, put stuff on the top, put stuff on the sides. It's separate from your suspension, so you can really load it up, no problem. They have a new pannier rack, which is really cool. It's slick, it's super low profile. It doesn't look like you have a rack, but you can put a saddlebag with your laptop and take it off your back. That's great for urban commuting, but the weight limit is much lower. So that's one option. Front rack is an option on all the models. That you can put a little front bag The weight limit is not super high, but you can do a lot with it. So you can choose the what they call the new cockpit, which is the adjustable stem. With that, you would have to use either the kiosk display, which is the nice compact color display from Bosch, or really cool too is a smartphone hub. So you can stick your phone there, it can charge off the batteries, tell you directions, show your speed, it works as your display. But if you don't want to use your phone, no problem, it still has a little display. So that's really cool. That is compatible with touring and NVO though, but not roll-off. The other thing that I should mention is the GX version. So if you want to do sort of mixed use, trail on road. And that pretty much covers it. There's colors too.
Very cool colors.
Really good colors.
Yeah. They got a new designer who we met.
Oh yeah, the new color guy.
Just after, well, I don't think he's only responsible for color.
Okay.
I think he's largely responsible for a lot of the new lines and kind of updating the feel of the bikes. But I think that he totally nailed the color.
Yeah. So this is called Tundra, and this is probably the most popular one so far. It looks great on the website for sure. It looks really good in person. There's warm silver, which is also really nice. The Delite you can get in red or black or charcoal, matte basically. So both, I mean all 4 colors are really, really nice. And then there's 3 frame sizes in each, basically small, medium, large. Fits riders all the way from, on the Delite, like, well, car in your 5 feet.
Yeah, probably 5'1", I would say.
Yeah, 5'1" is ideal, but if you're comfortable on a bike and you're 5 feet, you can fit it.
Totally.
All the way up to like 6'5".
The bikes and the colors and the technology and the drivetrain, all important stuff. I think what is really impressive about Riese Muller is that they understand how all of that comes together with the riding experience, the maintenance experience of the bike, all of these things that make a Riese Muller a Riese Muller. So the bikes are built for you, and last year we had the opportunity to go see where that happens, and it is like as impressive. I think it was actually much more impressive than I was thinking it was going to be, because it is not just like bikes being built, it's your bike being built.
That aspect, their production in Germany, really allows you to build a bike that you want in the way that you like it, with the features that you need, and they can do that in like top quality, and then they have so much control, they can really support shops like ours to be really good on the after sales and the service and all of this. So I would say that's a huge feature. You know, it's all about test riding. You know, they support us in having the demo bike so that we can really get you on a bike and try. So I think, you know, number one way to pick a Superdelite or Delite is to go to your local store. If you're in the Bay Area, definitely come to the New Wheel. We have this Superdelite in our Marin store, along with the Delite Mountain for you to try. We have the Delite Urban with the pannier rack in our San Francisco store, and you just take a test ride and try different drivetrains and just understand what you need and want, and we'll make it happen for you. We have stores, 2 locations, San Francisco, Marin. If you're not in the Bay Area, go visit your local Riese Muller dealer, and yeah, we'll see you on the road.